Breaking news. Kenya court declares transfer of Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria illegal, awards damages against government. Here the details. Detention, torture, and illegal transfer of Motsi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria in June 2021 was unlawful, unconstitutional, and a gross violation of his fundamental human rights under Kenyan and international law. This judgment vindicates our consistent position that what transpired in Nairobi in June 2021 was not extradition but extraordinary rendition, a criminal act of state-sponsored international terrorism involving the highest authorities of the Nigerian and Kenyan governments. We are grateful beyond measure to the brilliant legal leadership of Professor PLO Lumumba, lead counsel in the Kenyan litigation, whose courage, clarity, and tenacity led to this monumental legal victory. IPOB also extends heartfelt appreciation to the Kenyan judiciary, especially Honorable Justice E.C. Mwita, who stood tall against ferocious political interference and international diplomatic pressure to deliver a fearless judgment grounded in law, morality, and constitutional justice. We know, and now the world must acknowledge, that Motsi Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any crime in Kenya. He entered Kenya lawfully as a British citizen. He was abducted in broad daylight at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport by agents of Nigeria's secret police in collusion with rogue elements of the Kenyan security apparatus. He was chained, tortured, denied medication, and eventually bundled onto a private jet and flown illegally to Abuja without any extradition hearing or judicial warrant. This verdict places a permanent and indelible legal stain on the records of former Presidents Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya, Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria, and former Attorney General Abubakar Malami, and their accomplices.
Alright, so it is no longer news that the Kenyan court has declared that the extradition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria is illegal. Oh yes, and not only that, they went ahead to, award Nnamdi Kanu the sum of 10 million Kenyan shilling, which is about 120 million naira in Nigerian currency. Oh yes, you know what? This thing happened yesterday, being the 27th day of June 2025. And as of today, the 28th day of June, I'm making this video. No major Nigerian news channel has carried this. I've not seen this news in Channels Television or Arise TV or all these big news channels we have in Nigeria. None of them has carried this news. If you have seen it, you must have probably seen it in social media where people are posting it. And then you ask yourself, why? It still boils down to that thing that I'm telling you, that these people are working, they are bringing news that will suit their masters. If, for instance, now the Kenyan court has said, oh, Nnamdi Kanu has failed, he should be granted, he should be jailed, you see, quickly, immediately, they will carry it. Yes, they will carry it, assuming Kenyan court say Nnamdi Kanu should be jailed. Sharp, they go carry him, they will speculate it. Oh yes, but now, this good one is coming, where the Kenyan government has even, the Kenyan court has even filed their Kenyan government the sum of 10 million Kenyan shilling. And no Nigerian news is carrying it. Again, we are going to see what is going to happen on the 18th of July. You know, it is on the 18th of July that Nnamdi Kanu is going to appear in Nigeria in court, in Abuja court, right? So we are going to see what is going to happen. You know what? After this news, when this news came out yesterday, I took time to research to see how many witnesses did the Kenyan government brought, and all this kind of drama we are seeing in Nigeria, did it happen in Kenyan court? Even though, for sure, I will be sincere with you, I've been expecting this news from Kenyan government for over the years. Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention for 4 years plus now. So I've been expecting this judgment or this news from Kenyan court a long time ago. But as God may have it, it's coming now. We still give God the thanks. Now, we are going to see what is going to happen in Nigerian court. Oh yes. Anyway, I will wait. We wait. Let me reserve my wait till the 18th day of July, just in 2 or 3 weeks to come. Then we'll see what will happen in Nigeria court. Now, I'm going to allow you to watch the full details, how they said it and everything that went on, they said, in the next video you're going to watch. But just do well to drop your comment on the comment section. Remember that, and I tell you that very soon, we will sing the song of victory, which we have already started singing. Oh yes. And don't forget, as I will always remind you, pray for the state of Biafra. Pray for our leaders, that God will give them wisdom and knowledge to carry out this cause. All right? So please, Watch this news and then you drop your comment on the comment section. What to think about it, please.
Now, when Sunday Igboho was arrested in the Republic of Benin, the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, sent helicopter, is it helicopter or private jet, something like that. They sent it to Benin Republic for them to bring him back to Nigeria. The Republic of Benin said, no, it doesn't work like that. This is our territory. You don't decide on what we do. We have to try this person in the court. If it's worth taking him back to Nigeria, we'll take him back. But if he's running away for his life, if he has the right to run away, then we can leave him to go wherever he's going. And at the end, they left, Sunday Igboho to travel to Germany and Germany to London. He started living his life. That is the way it's supposed to be. Now, let's go through this article to understand what transpired. It reads that a high court in Nairobi, Kenya, has ruled that the abduction and detention of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and his subsequent rendition to Nigeria in June 21 were unlawful and illegal. End of discussion. Yeah, this is end of discussion. So, anything that happens after Nnamdi Kanu's adoption ought not to happen. I'm talking about all these, what they called court cases. It ought not to happen because the process by which Nnamdi Kanu was brought into Nigeria was illegal. Now, the only place maybe Nigerian government could have argued with court is if the Supreme Court has not said that Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail, that the military illegally again invaded his house that led him to leave the country. All these things can only happen in Nigeria. Now, the article continues. Delivering the judgment, Justice E.C. Mwita held that the actions of both the Kenyan and Nigerian governments amounted to gross violation of Kanu's fundamental human rights as protected by their respective constitutions. The court also awarded Kanu 10 million Kenyan shillings, which is equivalent to 120 million naira, in compensatory damages against the Kenyan government for its role in the unlawful abduction and rendition. So the Kenyan court has officially found the Kenyan government guilty and, in connection with the adoption of Nnamdi Kanu. Remember that the Minister of Information in Kenya had a press briefing denying that the Kenyan government don't know anything about the abduction of Nnamdi Kanu when the hits started coming up. You know what? If that was more indictment on the part of the Kenyan government. So you mean that someone entered your territory, came to your country, kidnap someone and leave your country without your notice, came down in your airport? So I think that was one of the arguments that Professor P.R. Onumumba's team argued in court, that it is not possible. You can't deny that. Now the article continues that Justice E.C. Mwita said, having considered the pleading and arguments by parties, the decision relied on the Constitution and the law. I come to the following conclusion. First, the government of Kenya violated the Constitution and Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's rights and fundamental freedoms. Having entered Kenya lawfully, he was subject to the protection offered by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and the government of Kenya had an obligation to uphold and protect his rights and fundamental freedoms. 2. Mr. Nnamdi Kanu was, however, abducted, kept in solitude, confinement, torture, and denied food and medication, a breach of basic rights. He was chained, humiliated, ridiculed, and held in contempt and later forcibly removed from Kenya without following the law in violation of the right and fundamental freedom for which the government of Kenya is liable. 3. Based on the above conclusion, the court made the following declaration and order it considers appropriate. A declaration is hereby issued that the abduction of Nnamdi Kenny Oku Kanu, holding him in incommunicado confinement, torturing him, and denying him food, water, medication, and other basic necessities was a violation of his rights and fundamental freedoms. A declaration is hereby issued that the abduction and subsequent forcible removal of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria was in violation of the laws of Kenya. His rights and fundamental freedoms, including freedom of movement and security of the person, guaranteed by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and therefore unconstitutional and illegal. An order for compensation is hereby issued, awarding Mr. Nnamdi Kanu general damages of 10 million Kenya money, that is equivalent to 120 million naira, against the Attorney General of Kenya on behalf of the government of Kenya for violation of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's constitutional rights and fundamental freedoms. Meanwhile, the indigenous people of Biafra has hailed the judgment as a landmark victory, saying it vindicates the group's long-standing position since what it described as the sham and farcical trial of its leader in Nigeria. A statement signed by the IPOB spokesperson in a powerful read. The indigenous people of Biafra wishes to formally announce a resounding judicial earthquake that has taken the legal foundation of the fraudulent rendition of our leader, Nnamdi Kanu. In a historic, courageous, and landmark judgment delivered on June 24, 2025, the High Court of Kenya, sitting in Nairobi, found that abduction, incommunicado detention, torture, and illegal transfer of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria in June 2021 was unlawful, unconstitutional, and a gross violation of his fundamental human rights under Kenya and international law. This judgment vindicates our consistent position that what transpired in Nairobi in June 2021 was not extradition but extraordinary rendition, a criminal act of state-sponsored international terrorism involving the highest authorities of the Nigeria and Kenya government. We are grateful beyond measure to the brilliant legal leadership of Professor P.N.O. Lumumba, lead counsel in the Kenyan litigation, whose courage, clarity, and tenacity led to this monumental legal victory. IPOB also extend heartfelt appreciation to Kenyan judiciary, especially Honorable Justice E.C. Mwita, who stood tall against ferocious political interference and international diplomatic pressure to deliver a fearless judgment grounded in law, morality, and constitutional justice. We know and now the world must acknowledge that Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any crime in Kenya. He entered Kenya lawfully as a British citizen. He was adopted in broad daylight at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport by agents of Nigeria's secret police in collusion with rogue elements of the Kenyan security apparatus. He was claimed torture. He was chained, tortured, detained, medication, and eventually bundled into a private jet that flown illegally to Abuja without any extradition hearing or judicial warrant. This verdict places a permanent and indelible legal stay on the records of former presidents Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya, Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria, and former Attorney General Abubakar Malami and their accomplices. It also exposes the criminal lobbying mission embarking upon by the Nigerian leaders from Buhari, Osibanjo to Tinubu and Shetima, all of whom tried and failed to manipulate Kenyan judiciary to cover up this international condemned act of extraordinary rendition. Let it be known that this is not the end. This is the beginning of the global accountability campaign. All those responsible in Kenya, Nigeria, or elsewhere shall be pursued to the ends of the earth under the universal principle of accountability for crimes against humanity. Neither British diplomatic complicity nor cowardly silence from Western powers will share the perpetrators from the legal, diplomatic, and moral reckoning that is coming. Now, this is the last paragraph of the article. It reads that Justice E.C. Mwite, we say thank you for your judicial bravery. To Professor P.L.O. Lumumba and his team, we salute your exceptional advocacy to the oppressed people of the world. This is your victory. A warning to tyrants and international borders. We no longer share criminals regime from justice, the statement added. So this is the end of the article. Now, the question here is, what is the importance of this judgment? The importance of this judgment simply states that Nigeria courts don't have the jurisdiction to try Nnamdi Kanu because he was kidnapped and brought to court when he did not jump bail. You can't send military to go and kill him according to the Supreme Court. He fled for his life, you kidnapped him, you brought him, and you now present him before the court. It doesn't make sense. This is the problem. So, Let's see what Justice James Omotosho is going to deliver from the 18th day of next month, that is July. I think from the 18th before July ends, we shall see the end of everything. There are a lot of things someone ought to have done or someone's supposed to be doing, but the detention of Nnamdi Kanu is like an event that is holding down a lot of things. However, the detention of Nnamdi Kanu, as I used to say before, is going to bring security. Yeah, it is going to bring security. We are not saying this because we want people to understand why he must be released. We are saying this because that is the reality. The freedom of Nnamdi Kanu, his release, is going to bring security, especially to the old eastern region. I'm talking about the southern part of the country, the eastern part of the country. His influence alone can generate fear to criminals that someone is there. The criminals in Nigeria no longer fear the government, because they are partners in crime. They are partners with so many government officials in crime. This is proven. This is on the national televisions. This is on the internet. Everywhere, what we are saying could be justified. To the extent that someone who has served in Nigerian intelligence, Commander Kundo Laomi, who have been in the Nigeria security, defense service for over 35 years, came to national television to speak out the truth about the complicity of the government in crimes, in terrorism in Nigeria. Someone who is the head of defense intelligence agency is saying, no, DSS, everybody is aware of all these crimes in Nigeria, but nobody is saying anything about it. This is what Nnamdi Kanu stands for. This is what everybody fighting for all this agitation stands for. It is only a wicked heart or a coward. We see his people dying unjustly, see the plan that they will use to eliminate your people, and you will still keep quiet. So I think that is what Nnamdi Kanu stands for. And the people who truly want to Islamize Nigeria, according to Kundo Laumi, who is the head of Nigeria Defense Intelligence Agency, who was the head of Nigeria Defense Intelligence Agency for over 6 years and have served the Nigerian Navy for 30-something years. He said this, I'm not the one saying it. So if such a person can bravely come to the national television to make such accusation, who am I not to believe him? So it is what it is. The freedom of Nnamdi Kanu is significant, and we look forward for his release.
All right. So what's your thought about it? Please do well to drop your comment on the comment section what you think. All right. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you very much, and God bless you.